Okay, so we're getting ready to make the pajama pants, and the first thing you need to do is lay out the pattern. I already have it started here to show you, but what you need to do is iron your fabric and fold it right sides together, so inside out, hot dog style. You'll see that the selvages are matching. So it's right sides together, selvages matching. Once you have this, it's on the table, there's no wrinkles in it, you can get your pattern pieces. I'm making a child's large, and I have the front piece and I have the back piece as well. Make sure you have a front and a back, because there's a front and back to your pants, and if you have two fronts, it's not going to work out when we get further down the road. Okay? So to lay them out, you need to make sure that there's room for both pieces, and if you have a special one-way design or stripes, you need to talk to Mrs. Cadian or Miss Moser so that we can help you get it lined up. For most solid fabrics, we need to make sure that this grain line here on the pants is parallel to this selvage edge. That's how we make sure our pants will hang nice and fit nicely when they're all done. So to check that, what you need to do is get a ruler, and I like to use the big clear ones, and you need to check that this line is parallel to here. So when I measure from here to the end, I can see that it's 7 inches, and when I measure at this end of the line to the selvage edge, I can see that it's 7 inches here, so I know that that's parallel. If it's not, you just need to rotate your pattern a little bit until it is. Once it's parallel, the first place you're going to pin is here in the grain line. Okay, so you take your pin, it goes down through all the layers, and then up through all the layers, which can be a little bit tricky. Pinning the grain line first keeps this piece from rotating or shifting while you pin the rest of the pattern. To pin the rest of the pattern, your pins have to be inside the pattern. If they're sticking out this way into the fabric, when you come to cut with your scissors, you're going to get stuck on those pins. So almost all the pins are going to be within the pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and pin a few here. Now, of course, there's an exception to every rule. Most of the pins stay within the pattern, but there are 3 spots where we're going to send a pin out here into the fabric. These are called notches, and when you cut a notch, you cut a triangle out from where it's marked on the pattern. So if you put a little pin pointing out into the fabric, this will keep you from being able to cut that off. We use the notches to line up the fabric when we put the pants together. Okay, and you can see I have my supplies ready. I have pins handy, I have my scissors and my ruler, and you always want to do that. Make sure that you have everything that you need to work before you get started. So now I have enough pins on here that the pattern's not going to shift, and I'm ready to cut. When you guys are doing your project, you must have Mrs. Cadian or Miss Moser check your pattern before you cut. It's really important that we just give it the double check. When we go ahead and approve it, then you can start cutting. I'm only showing one piece in this video, but do know that the back piece is also pinned. You need both pieces pinned before you start cutting. So to cut, get nice sharp scissors and cut just outside the pattern. When you come close to this notch, now you can see it's marked here, it's got a pin sticking out. We have to cut the notch in a triangle that goes out from the edge. You never cut a notch into the edge, because you'll just cut a hole into the side of your pants, and nobody wants that. Okay, so we're just going to carefully cut around the pattern. And it is important to be really neat, because we use these cut edges as the guide for sewing. So if the edges have, kindergarten cuts, it's going to be really hard to make nice straight stitching. Okay, so just cutting along, and you'll notice it's kind of hard to see on the camera, but these are fabric shears, so the way you use them is you keep the bottom of the scissor on the table and you cut along that way. That helps you to make a nice neat cut. Sometimes people try to cut it up in the air and that makes it really hard, okay? To finish this piece, I separated it from the other one so that I can turn it to an angle that works better for me, okay? Don't struggle. Make your pieces work for you. Okay, so once this piece is finished being cut, you go ahead and cut the other piece and you're ready to move on to step 1. Alright, so we're almost there. Okay, so this piece is cut. You can see there are notches here. And now all we can have to do is take out the pins and get ready for step 1. If you accidentally cut off a notch, you need to talk to Miss Moser or Mrs. Caddian so that you can get chalk and draw the notch on the fabric because we do need it to line up for step 1.